Now I'm going to show you exactly how my student, who is 76 years old, hits his driver over 270 yards. So this is going to be brilliant because what he does to be able to do this and have that huge massive distance is all about 4 things that require no athleticism to be able to do. So if you all do this, this is going to be called grabbing the low hanging fruit when it comes to driver distance. Now he is quite an athletic guy, absolutely, for 76 years old. But if he didn't do any of these 4 things, he would more hit his driver around 200 to 210 yards. So let's get into it and see how he outdrives his buddies by a good 70 to 60 yards. So number 1, setup. Let's see how he's setting up to the golf balls. This is huge for him to hit that ball a lot further. So you can see nice wide stance. So standing really wide there. Now that is the first big bit here, because the wider you stand, so just outside the shoulder width, the more of your lower body strength you're going to be able to recruit. So more muscle fibers are going to be activated as you swing that golf club. So you're going to be getting more out of your lower body without even trying. So that's where so many golfers are like this. Really, really narrow stance. Now, and I especially see a lot of senior golfers standing with a really narrow stance. Now, if you have extremely tight groin area here, I can imagine absolutely you might have to stand quite narrow. But most of us can do this, stand just outside of shoulder width, just like my student is showing here. So that's number 1. That's really going to help there in his first bit of setup to help hit the ball further. But we could also see from that setup, what else does he do? Ball position is nicely forward. It's just on that inside the left foot. Now, why that helps him so much? Because that naturally gets him hitting up on the golf ball. The more forward you have the ball in the stance, the later you're going to be hitting the ball on the swing arc on the more upward portion. If we have the ball position too far back, which so many golfers do, have it almost out in the middle with driver, you're going to be hitting down, de-lofting it, you're going to reduce your distance by a ton. So this alone, I've had huge success with a lot of my other students by just getting them to have ball position more forward and stand wider. That immediately gets you to hit, like we said, more knee up and faster club head speed without even trying, just from those 2 things. But he actually does more in the stance, believe it or not. So we can also see here, look at his left foot. See at how his left foot is slightly flared. So it's in that real flared position there. That is something we never see golfers do, because that is a winner of a movement. Because if we have that left foot flared, that opens up your hip capsule to have a greater range of motion, so more rotation. So many golfers, old or young, will stand to the golf ball like this with a dead straight toes, and then they'll try to turn in the downswing and they'll notice that they don't get that much range of motion. They will turn their hips a little bit and then they'll hit a brick wall. As you can see here, my left foot being dead straight, try and turn as much as I can. That's about as much as I can go before I can't turn anymore. But then if I let that left foot flare out just a smidge there, you're going to see at how much now I can turn my hips without me stopping. I haven't just randomly got more flexible in those 2 seconds. It was that flaring of the left foot. So this is essential, especially for senior golfers, but every golfer out there. I will do this big time with getting a good flare, gets you rotating really nice, and looking at this down the line of his swing here, he gets great rotation as well. So low hanging fruit here in the setup, copy that. That's going to be a good first step. Now, number 2 here, getting as full of a turn as you can for your athleticism here. This is the one bit that he's really lucky at being able to do it without this adjustment I'm going to tell you to do. He can get a nice good full shoulder turn without lifting the left heel. So lifting the left heel is something that every golfer can do to be able to get a nice full turn, because getting a big full turn, whatever that might be for a golfer, it won't be to like a Dustin Johnson, definitely not. Even for me, being a, of course, professional golfer in his 30s, you can see that that's about my full turn, not much at all. But I'm lifting up that left heel. So that's for golfers out there who aren't quite as athletic. You want to lift up that left heel, because if you come back and lift up that left heel, you're going to be getting a nice full turn. So it's going to free up the range of motion of your hips, and the better you turn, the more club head speed you're going to naturally create without trying. So as you're rotating up to the top, lift up that left heel. I like to see players do it after their takeaway. That's going to give you way more range of motion. And even a classic little feel here of getting that left knee to go a little bit behind the golf ball as you turn, like a Jack Nicklaus, is going to be awesome to helping you with that turn as well. So think more old school on how to do this. It's going to naturally and nicely get you having a way bigger turn without trying, and how any golfer on the planet can do that and get a bigger turn than they would do with the heel on the ground. So that's how you can get a great full turn, just like my student, without having good flexibility. Now, number 3, let's look here. Staying behind the golf ball coming in the downswing. So that's where, if we are staying behind the golf ball, as we see my student do here, that is again going to help and aid you hit more up on the ball. So that's where, if you start to get way too left, way too shifted with driver, that's going to make your low point too far forward, and then that means you're not going to be hitting up on it. So I like golfers to imagine there's like a brick wall right there just outside their lead foot, and I want them to turn and get through the golf ball, so not hanging back, but I want them to turn and get through it without hitting that wall right there. And that's going to really make you nicely behind it. So the low point of the swing art's going to be behind the ball and hitting up, which is then going to increase your ball speed a ton, hit higher launch, lower spinning drives. Let's do one here. And that's an absolutely awesome way to be able to get some easy, quick distances, staying behind that ball, imagining there's a wall right outside your lead foot. So number 4, he hits this part of the face very often, the middle of the club face. So this is something that you can train even independent of swing technique. So hitting the middle of the face is going to increase your ball speed the most. So many golfers out there who are struggling for distance, they would hit it either heel shots or toe shots, and obviously directionally, maybe even low on the face as well. And they'll be thinking, what am I doing to be able to hit the ball this short? I feel like I'm putting good effort into it, not hitting it out the middle. So just having something like powdered foot spray, there's even golf specific ones called strike spray, which is great. And just go to the range, get some spray, spray your club face, and then hit a bunch of balls, see where you hit that ball on the face. So if I hit a couple here, we're going to see, okay, where am I hitting that golf ball on the face here? So let's do one. We can see there, okay, a little bit high on the face, but roughly middle. So that would have been a higher launching one and with a little bit less spin. So that's not a bad place to hit it on the club face. But if, let's say here, for example, in my case, what would I want to think on that next shot? Just something as simple as hit it a little bit lower. You don't have to have a technical intervention to be able to do that. This is what we call building skill. So if I do another one here, let's try and hit that a little bit lower on the face, which I certainly did, but too much so. Where did I hit that? Definitely low on the face. Not quite coming up as much here, but you can see a little bit there on that heel. So middle heel, that would definitely not be a good one. So then you can then go in your practice session and keep hitting balls and start to ingrain some feels that get you hitting it more out the middle. So again here, let's go a little bit more central. That definitely felt so. Where are we there? Absolutely, as we can see, just underneath that top one there. So that's a pretty good high middle, but not too high. That's awesome. So that's where, if we go and we train this strike pattern, we're going to then get the most out of our driver. And we want to consistently hit that ball as central as possible. That's where there is a train of thought that high toe is actually the best place to hit it off the club face, just kind of high middle toe. That gives you the highest launch and lowest spin. But again, if you're hitting it out the middle, you're going to be doing pretty good there. So this is something that is so important. Middle strike is the king for ball speed. So again, doesn't require any athleticism to be able to do that. Just get some strike spray and play around with it. And you're going to be surprised that just thinking of hitting it on a certain part of the face, you're going to be able to actually replicate that. So here we go, another one. That felt very nice. Again, pretty much the same spot as the time before, just high and a little bit out the middle. Good. So these 4 things to do here require no athleticism. Even the second one, getting that full turn, lifting up that left heel, gets the athleticism out of it and can make anyone turn. So these is the low-hanging fruit in the golf swing to getting more driver distance. So will you be able to hit it 270 plus like my student? Maybe not. But you'll certainly be able to gain a good amount of speed and distance from doing this. So if you enjoyed this video, click that like button. If you've got more golf instruction just like this, hit a subscribe button, hit the bell button too to be notified every time I put out a video.